It's pretty rare that a household name brand surprises you with a product, but in the case of the watch we're looking at today, that's exactly what happened. Victorinox, known of course for their Swiss Army knives as well as their watches, brings to mind a certain design vocabulary. One that speaks most clearly to a military aesthetic, particularly infantry field watches. Though they have made models that diverge, they tend to be in the way of modern sport aesthetics. So, when a clearly vintage-inspired design showed up on their site, a watch that I don't even recall seeing in Basel, I was surprised and intrigued. The Alliance Mechanical has design elements that speak directly to watches from the early 50s and late 40s. Elements that, to my knowledge, hadn't been used by Victorinox in other watches. The Alliance Mechanical stands out for being a bit lighter, perhaps dressier, than their other watches, but at the same time having details of their modern and military designs. Powered by an ETA 2824-2 and featuring a sapphire crystal, this Swiss-made watch comes in at a fair $750, making it all the more compelling. Case, steel. Movement, ETA 2824-2. Dial, off-white. Lume, yes. Lens, sapphire. Strap, leather. Water resistance, 100 m. Dimensions, 40x 50 mm. Thickness, 10.5 mm. Lug width, 20 mm. Crown, 6x 3 mm. Warranty, 3 years. Case. The case of the Alliance Mechanical is simple and understated. It's entirely polished, with slab sides and no bevels or decoration to speak of. Just elegant flowing lines for a clean and classic, albeit a touch boring, shape. Measuring 40x 50x 10.5 mm, the Alliance is a medium/small sport watch, but seems plenty large for a watch with clearly vintage details. From above, the case is well proportioned, with thick lugs that add some bulk to the design. From the side, the watch is surprisingly flat, with even the lugs barely curving down. Capping off the case is a flat sapphire crystal with triple anti-reflective coating that is very effective. Off the right side is a 6x 3 mm push/pull crown. Once again, nothing out of the ordinary here. The crown is nicely sized and textured, making it easy to grasp. On the outer face is a Victorinox shield logo. Since this watch is an automatic and sporty in its own way, I would have liked the crown to have been screwed down. Perhaps they could have gotten a higher than 100 m water resistance that way. Flipping the watch over reveals the display caseback, which shows off the ETA 2824-2 automatic powering the watch. Though the movement is relatively undecorated, it's still fun to see, and likely makes the watch more sexy at retail. That said, I wouldn't have minded a solid caseback in this instance, perhaps with an etching or other decoration. Dial. The dial of the Alliance is where things get a bit more surprising. Rather than having the more standard infantry/field designs I at least associate with the brand, they went for a very clearly vintage dress/sport style, circa late 40s early 50s. The design immediately brings to mind early Omega Seamasters, like the first, from 1948, as well as early 50s Rolex Bubbleback Pre-Explorers, with its 3-6-9 layout and applied logo at 12. When mixed with the more modern case size, it's definitely an unexpected combo, especially from this brand. There are two dial variations available, black and the off-white we have here. The light cream tone is very interesting and a nice change from stark white. It's a bit warmer and deeper, allowing the applied steel markers to contrast nicely. The primary index, as noted, is an Explorer-style 3-6-9 index with applied polished markers. The markers between the numerals are all faceted, triangular shapes that reflect light nicely, throwing flashes this way and that. At 12 is an applied Victorinox shield with a mix of polished and matte finishing that looks great as well. The typeface chosen for the numerals is a clean sans serif that looks like it's straight off of one of the old Omegas. Since they are totally flat, they tend to reflect solid colors, standing out from the faceted markers. Since the watch is a 40 mm, it's much larger than the vintage watches it refers to, but in the scaling, they've kept the markers all quite small. As such, there is quite a bit of empty space on the dial that at times feels too open. To alleviate this a bit, there is a bit of text on the dial, including the standard logo at 12, and the automatic above 6. Automatic is printed in red, which adds a sudden and welcome bit of color.